Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Since I was born, been stacking my coin. These niggas pop, my money keep growing. Your girl is a dot, she all on my groin. She blowing my horn, we fuck like porn. These rappers is whack, they lyrics are corn. I'm getting this money, it never get born. I'm loading my strap, they calling the law. Fuck around and get clapped for running your jaw. If it ain't about the dollars, then it don't make sense. Got me sipping brown water, but it ain't from Flint. Trying to chase all this bread, though the shit won't last. About to shut the city down, let the crypto crash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Smoking on that crippy got me cliff high. Steam pot, heat rock, slingshot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. Hot boy, do it big time. Element with my summer bay, we booed up. Cali hit the bay, we fly MIA, we pulled up. Sipping on this drink, bitch, I know the way. We juiced up, nigga violate till it's JFK like Jerufa. Coin daddy bout them chips, nigga rap snacks. Face all in a box, nigga Snapchat. Fucking with the ops to get you clapped. No cap, nigga rap.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Yeah. Yeah. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Stacking my coin, my coin.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga!
This episode is brought to you by FairDesk, a crypto derivatives trading platform founded by 6 former Binance execs and 3 former Morgan Stanley architects. FairDesk is a company focused on building a platform that enables traders to profit from both rising and falling markets. Sign up today and CB will credit you up to $600 in trading funds. For more information, visit fairdesk.com, link in the description below.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Smoking on that crippy got me cliff high. Steam pot, heat rock, slingshot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. Hot boy.
Let's go, people. Episode 95. Got my best friend in the crypto space with us tonight, Chris Rice TVX, you guys know him as. Make sure you guys go follow him. I got a link to his Twitter in the description of this video. So show some love and hit that thumbs up. Smack that peach. You know what time it is. Let's go, people. Let's go.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin.
Chinese balloons and crypto bubbles. You love that title, don't you? We'll be talking about. I got some great information that I was thinking in the back of my head about where we are in the crypto space and the price action. Well, I actually found an article from a guy, an academic, who really showed how it was price manipulation back in 2017. He exposed it. He's saying that's going on again. So we're going to go through his article from Fortune, do a deep dive in that, and we got a whole list of other articles we're going to talk about tonight. Make sure you guys hit that, share that like button. Let's go.
Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Since I was born, been stacking my coin. These niggas pop, my my money keep growing. Your girl is a dot, she all on my groin. She blowing my horn, we fuck like porn. These rappers is whack, they lyrics is corn. I'm getting this money, it never get born. I'm loading my strap, they calling the law. Fuck around and you clap for running your jaw. Your jaw.
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks! We'll do it live.
Okay. Yes, y'all. We doing it live. Welcome to another episode of My Two. Actually, off the chain. 95. Like Pocket 95. What's going on, Rice?
What's going on? What's going on, my friend?
I just saw Rice maybe a week ago.
Yeah,
right?
it was almost a week ago. Tomorrow be a week. Can you cut that echo off for me?
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I'm surprised you didn't use that picture on the thumbnail. I was thinking about that earlier.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have time, man. I literally just was like, let me just use the one I used before.
The best friends thing, man. You almost made me tear up, my friend.
Oh, my God.
But now you are, man. Best friends, bubbles, and balloons, man. It's going to be a hell of a show. It's going to be a hell of a show.
Yo.
3 Bs.
Shout out to Footnote Cafe in Winston-Salem. Excellent coffee.
Did you like it? I wasn't sure if you ended up there or not. There was another place that I was going to end up. I realized like 15 minutes later to suggest Cranky's with a K, but that place was so close to my house, and I like to go there and eat. Plus, it's attached to Foothills, which is a brewery, and they make IPAs and different beers, and you could find their beer all over the United States.
Where I went was attached to Foothills.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Footnote.
Yeah, that's why it was called Foot, and it's right beside a bookstore.
Yep.
It was one of the bookstores where they were going to promote some of the extracurricular reading, if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
With the what's the word I'm looking for? Drag queens story time. Did you hear about drag queens reading books in stores?
No, but I did see a lot of rainbow flags and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's
up
very
in there.
very prideful downtown.
Yeah,
a lot of pride.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. Make sure you guys smash that like button as we get started with this live stream. You know, these off the chain episodes, guys, usually go for 2 hours. So buckle in, get your popcorn, get your rice bowl,
get your sake,
get your sake,
you can get your rice wine.
Get your cigar, get your sake,
get your favorite
get your
fidget spinners. CB is a huge fan of fidget spinners, by the way.
Of course. Yeah, I had a great time, man. Stopping in, checking on you while on my way back to the D from North Carolina. Very good coffee though. So if I do come through,
I'm glad that it came
back at Footnote.
I'm just glad that it was approved because I know you're a connoisseur of the coffee, my friend. So I'm glad it didn't.
Kind of. Not, a little bit.
It's not Miami, but it's good.
I was going to say, very close to Panther Coffee.
Okay.
I was very impressed. Yes. Very impressed. We've got, how many people we got in the building right now? I'm not even sure. 34 people in the building. Smack that like button. We got some YouTube premium members
watching on my end, and also to let people that are watching.
Oh yeah, let people know.
If you're watching on Rice TVX, we can't share the live chat. It's not aggregated, so Crypto Blood can't see it. But I'm trying my best to make sure I'm participating in the live chat. So I do appreciate everybody for tuning in, and always I appreciate Blood for letting me do a multi-stream with this collaboration.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, man.
Of course. Hey, I reach out to people all the time. Say, hey, you want to come on the show? I get the silent, no response. I hit you up. You're there every time.
You know how it is, man. You know how it is. I mean, generally,
but they're gonna be listen. They're gonna be coming at Crypto Blood when they see me on Netflix in October. I'm just saying.
October is when it's gonna be now.
Yeah, that's when it's coming out. I
Cool.
actually reach out to the production.
You get to
team
prepare for the storm.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be.
You're gonna have your book written by then, so you can do a book tour as well.
Yeah, a little Ben Armstrong book tour. You know what I'm saying?
A little Crypto Blood book tour.
Shout out to Ben Armstrong. I don't know if he's coming to the D. He needs to. Hit me up. Definitely hit me up. But I was watching Madoff series last night on Netflix.
Yeah, that was actually I watched it, and I'm glad that they put it out. They put it out at a really good time because it wasn't. I think it's been out for about a month.
Okay.
But yeah, with what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried and a lot of people trying to compare the two, it was good to get that perspective, and it really shows you either how dirty and or incompetent the SEC is,
bro.
Because weren't they at one point talking about making him chair?
Yeah,
like the same position that right now Gary Gensler's in.
Right. The one thing, the guy who's I think the reason why I even
in charge of the
reason I even thought about the Netflix documentary I'm going to be in, because it came up last night in my head while I was watching Madoff, that series on Netflix. I said, damn, I should have been maybe more vocal about my feelings toward the SEC in my diet. But I'm like, I'm gonna play it kind of, politically correct and everything, and not really go in on them. I am still a black man out here in there. But that just made me think, because like the documentary that I'm in, I can't really talk about, but it is dealing with a company from like 2017-18 in the blockchain space.
You're doing an announcement of an announcement, though. It's
pretty much funny. Pretty much got a
blood son.
They got their handed to them by the SEC and was called frauds this and frauds that. I mean, we've seen it with Reggie Middleton. That whole situation. We know what occurred or didn't happen and what they painted in the.
Well, what's interesting about that? What's interesting about the Reggie Middleton case is the fact that he can't say anything about the case and he can't confirm or deny. So anything that you read about it, which makes it look and sound very fraudulent, makes him sound like a fraud. He just has to kind of like, I can't say anything either way. I can't defend myself.
Crazy. The SEC is definitely criminal. Yeah. They come in after the fact. They never solve or stop things before they happen, before innocent investors lose their money. They always come in after the fact. It's like, no point. What's the point of having this agency with all these lawyers and all of this if you're going to come in after the fact?
The SEC is supposed to protect the people, right? And you don't see where the SEC is really protecting the people. And the government's supposed to be a government of, for, and by the people, but it doesn't really seem to be a government that's of, for, and by the people. So it's just this upside down, bizarro world that we live in, man. It's crazy.
No doubt. And
even today's stories kind of reflect on that. I mean, this balloon story, this is just asinine.
Yeah, I didn't realize how deep this went and how long that balloon had been up in the air.
Yeah, so and there's apparently a second one identified in South America, from what I understand.
Interesting. And we have an article today that relates to kind of what we were talking about as far as regulatory compliance or oversight regarding crypto. Our buddy Charlie Munger had another 2 cents to.
Did you see that? You saw that picture I sent you, right?
I did. That was horrible.
It really reminded me all the old rich dude club is what I started calling them. I think it was we were on around a blockchain this past Thursday together, and we were talking about this.
Yeah.
The old rich dude club is what I call it. Yeah, like the geriatrics that are somehow staying alive with black magic and whatever else is.
Do you ever notice like all of the presidents live long, except the ones that get assassinated? Think about it.
How long is long?
85,
how do we determine that?
80 years old and up. That's a long time.
Which is kind of crazy to think about, because most presidents, when they go into term, look one way and come out looking like they had just gotten beat up and ran through the ringer.
Very true.
So you would think that there would be a deterioration of health, but it might be all that money that they're able to collect and pay for all these health benefits. Who knows, man?
I think it's some woo-woo stuff associated with.
Well, there could be technologies out there that we just don't have.
Exactly,
and that could be woo-woo, but I would
because it doesn't look good for just optically, it doesn't look good for a country's president to die, right? It just doesn't.
Well, especially while they're president. I mean, but if they're old,
that's what I'm saying,
and they're not president anymore, everybody dies.
But even those, they even
still doesn't.
live
It's
to
not an awful thing. Like
Bush,
yeah, look at the Queen of
Senior.
England. Look at the Queen of England. How old was she?
Queen of England. Bush Senior. He was in his 90s.
Yeah. G. Edward Griffin's 92. If we're going to talk about old people, he's 92.
G. Edward is pushing it, man. What is have you talked to him?
Not recently. Not recently. I do need to try to get him back on though.
Yeah, you should do it for the one more time.
I want to try to speak it. Well, he's doing conferences. He runs Red Pill Expo. So I want to try to get involved in the next one.
Gotcha. So get over to bloodalytics.com if you guys are interested in signing up. My service is now like fully automated for you. If you're going to trade on FairDesk, I still have to push the trades myself, but at least that leaves you out of it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So this definitely increases the value proposition for you guys. So definitely check it out. Let me see here.
I still need to get my stuff straight and start utilizing this.
Yeah.
I've been so lazy and procrastinating because of all this other stuff I've got going. I shouldn't say lazy. I've just been procrastinating because of all the other work that I've been doing.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. It's really, the value proposition has just increased big time for you. Still a lot of work on my end because I got to actually push those trades and try to make sure I don't miss any trades for you guys. I'd probably do a better job than you would. I don't miss too many trades.
Oh,
no, not you, but
you're just talking to everybody else.
Yeah, no doubt. So bloodalytics.com, check it out. I do give you guys a 50% off discount if you're signing up for the 6-month and 12-month subscriptions. All you got to do is use the link in the description below and sign up, deposit $1,000 or more, and send me your UID number from FairDesk, and I will generate you a 50% off discount promo code. Is there anything you want to shill for your channel, my friend?
Oh, I mean, if I could shill something, you know how much I'm a proponent of precious metals. So I always encourage people to, diversify. And I do have a partnership with Money Metals Exchange that people could take advantage of. They would go to moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100 worth of goods, like 5 ounces of silver. Use the promo code RICETVX at checkout, and you get a free ½ ounce of silver. And it supports my channel, but you get a free ½ ounce of silver, which is pretty nice.
Stem cell infusion is what elites do. To get long life, I assume he's saying.
That's possible. And I've heard some people doing stuff like that. I think, not 100% sure, but I think Jeff Berwick, back maybe even prior to 2020 or maybe even during 2020 might have been talking about stuff like that, because he's been looking into like different types of almost like alternative things that people do when it comes to health. And I would definitely consider this to be kind of alternative, especially being that it's not, I think they've made it illegal in the United States, technically, haven't they?
What's that?
To experiment with stem cell research?
Not sure.
I don't know if people, I don't know what people can do in the U.S. I think people are going to other countries, Mexico, other countries are, I think, a little bit more open to that. I could be wrong if people want to share some information. But who knows, man? I mean, you've heard stories about the I gotta be careful with the words. The chrome.
It's a damn shame. You gotta do.
Yeah, well, the chrome of the adrenas. That speculation, with dealing with younglings and children and blood. And all that weird shit. I mean, I don't know, man. I
don't have stem cell replacement injection capabilities, but I do use Verso. This is not a.
It's not a shell. This is just something you actually used.
No, it's just something I use. It's.
When did you start using it?
Maybe about a month and a half ago. 2 months now. It's been about 2 months now. You ever heard of resveratrol?
No.
Okay. Well, the method they use to get resveratrol resveratrol into your cells is something unique. I guess it gets it in there better than other applications of using resveratrol. So yeah, if you guys are interested, check it out. Cell Being is the pill that I'm using. Verso is ver.so. Well, it's just ver.so.
Yeah, I'll check it out, see what it's like. There's a couple other things that I'm looking into. I'm sorry, I was taking.
But it's supposed to, it's supposed to help with DNA telomere regeneration. That's as we get older, those replications get weaker and weaker and less efficient and accurate.
No, I've noticed that over the past year and a half with my eyes. Like I actually, I think I want to actually go to an eye doctor for the first time and get some sort of like proper reading glasses instead of trying to go to a store and figure out whether it's a one magnetism or 1.5 or whatever the situation might be. I've noticed a deterioration of my eyesight. I used to have like 2015. I could see pretty far away. It's when it comes to the later in the day, reading things up close, like reading a book, I would need to have like some reading glasses, and the ones I have are like 1.5 right now. So I need to actually get something proper so I can make sure I'm not giving myself headaches. But I wonder if something like that would help with. And I'm starting to thin out a little tiny bit here, and I really would like to fill back in before it thins out more. So I wonder if things like that do it.
I don't know about the sight thing. I know my sight was 20/20 for sure for years, up until maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I started needing reading glasses, 1X.
I can still read stuff from real far away. It's crazy. But you put something in front of my face, and it's
something in front of my face. I can read pretty well if the lighting is correct in the room. But as the day goes by, it does.
Yeah, as soon as we hit,
man,
as soon as I would say maybe 7, 8 hours, 9 hours into my day, everything is a blur. I have to start putting on the reading glasses, or I can't read it. It just gets blurry.
See this from Mastermind here?
Repairs your organs from the inside out, according to Jeff. Says he never felt better. He also mentioned the U.S. stem cells are like 1/1000th the strength. So there is something in the U.S., but it's obviously a little bit more open in Mexico. So I was kind of correct in that element. I'd had to research it more before I did that. One thing that I want to do is just start exercising more frequently and eating better and seeing and taking things like Master Focus. There's another thing that I'm looking into that I'll share with you more privately. I've mentioned it a few times on Rice Against the Grain, but it's not sure about the product, so I don't want to mention it here. But I am looking into supplements and better ways to improve my health, because shit, man, it's in about...
You start feeling it the older you get.
Well, in a little over 2 months, man, for me, really about 3, less than 3. It'll be my birthday, and I'm gonna be 48 years old, man.
Wow, Ron, let's go ahead and give a round of applause.
Your birthday's not too me, but you're like 10 years younger than me.
But I don't look it according to you.
I thought you were closer to my age, man. You're just a mature 37-year-old.
Oh man, Rice was like, "What? You're only 38? I thought you were older than me."
I thought you were like a vampire. I thought you were like maybe he was on a plantation years ago. I don't know, man. Maybe.
Jump over to rumble.com, Rumble in the Jungle with both of us. I don't know if you have the link to it in your description of your video, Rice, but I'm going to put it in the chat room right now for my Rumble channel.
I got it in the video description.
I got 106 followers now, so thank you for the support, and Rice and I will be doing some more content over there.
I had to get that
corrected.
No,
you don't what?
I don't have the link, but I'll get it corrected.
Oh, okay.
If you can copy and send it to me in the private chat, I can just quickly paste it.
We've gotta do another uncensored.
Definitely. Is Baby Blood okay?
Yeah, that boy's just running wild. It's his time. He just woke up from a nap. He is on 10, my friend.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this and put it in my live chat.
So Dead Game Boxing said, "What about the jellyfish?" Not sure about that one. Not sure about that one. You know anything about jellyfish?
No, but I think I've heard something about scientists trying to save like octopus. I don't know if jellyfish will fall in this category or maybe sentient.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess we can go ahead and start kicking this bad boy off, man. Good to just catch up with you and shoot the breeze for a minute. Hope you guys are enjoying it. 47 people in the building right now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, guys, to both my channel and Rice TVX. Link to his Twitter is in the description of this video, which will then give you access to all of his social media platforms, where he puts out great content on a regular basis. We are both shadow banned, so we definitely need your help in getting more awareness about our two channels. Today's word of the day, flummox.
You know, is this a real word?
It's a real word.
Real word.
It's a real word. Absolutely. I only put real words.
Where did you discover this word?
Hey, man, I can't give you the secret sauce on where I.
Well, what does this word mean? How do you define it?
Well, flummox is basically being perplexed or confused. You've heard that word, been in the flummox.
I feel flummoxed all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, you need to take some master focus by.
I am taking my master focus. It's supposed to take so many days before it's supposed to start working.
When did you start taking it?
I don't know, like 10. It should be starting to work. It should be.
Well, we'll see. My shout out to my boy Hotep.
The balloon situation perplexed me, and that was the same thing as that word.
That flummoxed you?
It flummoxed me because I'm like, what the flummox is going on here? I was completely perplexed. I don't think I actually said what the flummox was going on.
I don't think you did either.
No, because I just discovered this word because of you today.
See? There you go. No doubt. No problem. So let me see if you guys can use flummox in some form or fashion in today's episode. That'd be great to see how you guys go ahead and integrate that into the chat room.
Are you like doing like a Pee Wee Herman kind of thing? So like anytime somebody says flummox, we got to go, ah! You remember that? Do you remember Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse? They had a word, and every time the word
I'm not doing the Pee Wee Herman Playhouse though.
Crypto Blood Playhouse.
It's a little weird, you know what I mean?
Pee Wee Blood.
A little weird. Wild Crypto said those fish that regenerate limbs in a flux. Yeah, that's short. Definitely flux. Short for flummox. There you go, bro. In a flux. Bad Man Light said, heard that word being used before. Yeah, same here for sure. Let's take a look quickly before we get into it, Rice. I want to just go over the technicals in the crypto markets right now because I think we're at a critical level. This pretty much, guys, like if you take a look at this area right here, right there, zoom in a little bit, that was the area where we had the FOMC information come out, or Jerome J. Powell, the pusher, came out with his statement, and
this past Wednesday, the 1st of February, or was it Tuesday?
It was Wednesday, 1st of February.
Wasn't sure if it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
And what do you know, ladies and gents? We traversed that whole pump up. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all. I thought this was going to happen. I told you guys, watch the days following the news, the pump up. And that's what we have here, guys. We're right at the bottom or the top of the channel that I have drawn here. And I'm suspecting, Rice, that we are going to drop below there. And again, this article that we're going to look at today that goes over kind of the manipulation that has been uncovered from a gentleman in 2017.
Yeah, I couldn't read that article. I'm interested in seeing what that was all about.
Yeah, I know that was behind the paywall. Sorry about that.
No problem. But
I think
I'm interested in hearing what this
whole thing, guys. And it took a few days. Literally took 1, 2, 3, 4 days to traverse it and take back all those gains from that pop. But to me, that is a bad sign, guys, that we are.
Yeah, but the last one was over the weekend, right?
The last what?
If you go back to that chart, the last leg downward before we see that green candle
today. So the dotted line indicates
that's more retail.
Sunday.
Or would that be
Sunday,
China time, like Asia's markets open?
Asia open, yeah, Asia.
So the Asian market started us off in a downtrend.
Well, for today, yeah, but they really
we weren't
started.
I get where
Thursday,
but we were still kind of staying level for a few days. It seemed like we should have been staying more level for a little
Thursday,
bit.
if I zoom in here, this is Thursday right here, guys. Let me bring this up. This is Thursday. All of this is Thursday, the day after. So we tried to make a move up, and then we got slammed down at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then Friday was a pretty much nothing burger, and we just kind of slowly bled out over the weekend. So,
well, I mean, we've mentioned several times, we said it on the Past Around the Blockchain, that we still have, me and you do not feel that the 15K is the bottom of the market. So I feel like we have lower to go, and not that this was an unexpected pump, but I think that the pump that was going to take place was like there was some extra push to take advantage of the pump. I don't think it would have pumped as like it did had there not been some extra things kind of added into it. But from a chart perspective, like I had Gareth Soloway on Wednesday. I mean, he said that this was already kind of in the charts that we were going to be heading back up. So it wasn't as if, but it was what we were going to do. And I think that maybe that's where, when we talk about this article about the manipulation, maybe that's where some of that will come into play. Who knows? And it could have been helping to help Sam Bankman-Fried as well with his legal situation with accumulating more funds. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I'll get to your comment, Mastermind, a little bit later because I did not know about that. It's applicable though later in the segment in the series or today's episode, I should say. Cointelegraph analyst says that Bitcoin may return to 20,000 as unemployment hits 45 or 54 year low. I had a little dyslexia going on there. Didn't he just come out with job reports and say that the jobs that it came in better than expected? Yeah.
So, but this article is kind of conflicting with that.
No, it's saying that unemployment hits a low. So we had employment data come out Friday. Non-farm employment change right here. Okay. We had non-farm come out 8:30 on Friday, guys, with a huge beat. Okay. I mean, they were only expecting 193,000 new employers hitting the markets. We had 506 or 17,000.
So low as in a low number. Like we don't have, it's the opposite of high unemployment. We have low unemployment is what it's saying.
Low unemployment, high employment. Like that number that came out Friday was almost 2.5 times what was expected, which is very shocking. That's bad for the narrative that
because I mean the Federal Reserve,
the economy is slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the concept that for us to fight inflation with raising the interest rates, that you will also see loss of jobs and higher unemployment numbers, and that should, in combination, help to bring down the inflation. But we're not seeing those numbers when it comes to the employment, unemployment, and I'm not sure how that's going to translate. That's why I'm really trying to tell people we haven't experienced a lot of the pain. Because when it comes to, from what I'm starting to understand from other smarter individuals, is that what the Federal Reserve does with the interest rates has like a 6 to 9 month lag. So we still haven't really experienced the pain from and I don't think that I think that they raised at the wrong time too. I think they should have been raising earlier and tapered back sooner. Not tapered, but stopped, slowed down, or whatever the case might be. It was really good video. I think it was George Gammon. Not sure if it's on his channel or Rebel Capitalist, but did a whiteboard video talking about comparing the situation to the 70s and 80s with Volcker and how Volcker kind of did things in a correct timing. And it's almost like Jerome Powell is kind of trying to emulate Volcker, but doesn't have the same finesse. Doesn't have the same finesse. Like he came at this at the wrong times. And the way that he's doing
it,
it's going to cause the recession to be a whole lot worse than people are even anticipating for a recession.
Well, people don't realize that Volcker got a lot of pushback when he first started to raise interest rates, and he had to pause and pulled back. And it wasn't until like almost 10 years later that he came back with that smackdown and really just hit him hard with the interest rate hikes. So it was a process. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't like he just came out and said, I'm just raising it to 19, 17%, whatever it was. It was like literally a decade's worth of going back and forth and figuring out, because he made some mistakes at the beginning, and then he finally made the right decision. Looking back, he was almost crucified.
150's bloody rice is awesome, but I do love Mark's comment.
Charlie Munger is flummoxed about crypto. There you go. Let's round of applause for that one. Couldn't be done better.
It's that digital divide, man. It's giving that remote control to your grandma and telling her to learn it and program it on the TV.
Yeah, no doubt. Kenton says this means, he's referring to how non-farm employment was grossly over estimates, means that the Fed will continue pushing, meaning increasing those rates, and that's exactly what that means. Well, because that means that the economy hasn't cooled down.
When I had Gareth on Wednesday, I mean, the question that, because we were talking like right before any information came out, I think we started the live stream at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it was before the 0.25 basis points and all 25 basis points and all that stuff. We were talking, the markets are like the stock markets, the crypto markets, we're seeing a lot of upward action. And that's not what you would see in a traditional recession. And what the Federal Reserve is trying to do is not trying to encourage the markets to continue going up. But because of the language that's being used, the markets are still going up. And we need reality really needs to set back in place. The markets, I'm not saying necessarily crypto, but the traditional markets are definitely not attached to reality. Not the reality that we exist in.
Right.
So it's just a completely different game, man. And it's going to be really interesting to watch how this thing really unfolds.
Yeah, the Dixie also, Rice, I watched this pretty closely because this kind of gives you a broader understanding of where risk on or risk off, or I should say risk on assets are going to be heading. And we saw a nice pump off the low. It was right there at 101. If we breached the 100 handle, 101 handle, it would have been probably down for the Dixie, down for the dollar being strong, and up for more risk on assets. And we saw the opposite happen. So that may be the low, man.
That correlates with the markets going down as well.
Exactly.
You know, seeing it kind of strengthen back up just a little bit. That brings, because it's a very, very seesaw effect.
Yep. So I think the top is in. I put a tweet out last week. I think Friday. I may have said it's suckers rally. It's a suckers rally. It's a suckers rally, and it's not just in cryptos and equities as well. It's a straight up suckers rally.
But it was a rally that was in the charts that, again, I think was manipulated, and that's where it became a suckers rally, because it's taking advantage of the momentum that's already there.
Yeah.
It's providing exit liquidity for a lot of individuals.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that they're just they're the exit liquidity.
Yeah, you got to have someone to sell to, right? That's how it works. So first article for today, guys, today. Self-proclaimed Satoshi Craig Wright scores legal win. Did you read over this article? Did you see this at all?
I did, and it's like
it's weird.
It is. It's like the most asinine thing. Like, it doesn't even seem newsworthy. I mean, the fact that your postman can act as a fiduciary is what the article said. But basically, long story short, is fake Toshi, Craig Wright, who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, is saying that the Bitcoin developers, based on British law, owe him fiduciary There's a suit that's stemming from I'm trying to read this article and take out this one part. Sorry. A suit that stems from Craig Wright's claim that he lost billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in a wallet that's tied to the hack of the failed Mt. Gox exchange. Apparently, it's like, is it 880,000 Bitcoin? He's citing English law, saying that the developers owe him fiduciary duties according to English law. And what he is saying is that from a 21 case, the London High Court gave Craig Wright's lawyers permission to serve papers to the developers, even if they don't reside in the UK. Wright demanded that the developers grant him access to an address that holds about 80,000 Bitcoin. Now, I thought Bitcoin, aside from like its early future, early creation where there were some bugs that happened, I thought that since all those bugs have been worked out, Bitcoin is immutable. So is it possible? Well, here's the question that the article made me think. Is it possible that if enough people on the Bitcoin network came together, that they could actually do something like this? I'm not saying for Craig Wright, but could they access an address? Could they per se do it to the Genesis block? Could they unlock coins what about coins that have never moved for like X amount of time? Can there be a consensus that gets put in? Do they even have that capability? Is it even in the coding is part of what I'm curious about.
I don't know if this particular wallet is a multi-sig wallet that maybe
because I just don't understand how. Yeah, I don't understand how they can get access to a wallet that they don't have the private keys to.
Yeah, that they wouldn't be able to,
because if it got hacked off the Mt. Gox exchange, it got moved to another address, and whatever that address is,
Craig Wright or Craig Wrong, I call him.
If he was Satoshi Nakamoto, why would he need the Bitcoin developers to help him? If he wrote the fucking code, wouldn't he be able to do this himself?
Exactly. The guy is crazy. He really is certified crazy. Craig Wrong, you're crazy.
He's got so much funding and backing. It's sick, man.
Yeah, and so I don't know if you saw this part though. Part of the people who are being sued is your boy Roger Ver. Oh my God, this guy can't catch a break, Rice.
Yeah, what was it? The Genesis lending or something like that was suing him.
Yeah, so he owes $47 million to CoinFlex. Looks like he's gonna default on that. Then he owes another 20 something to Genesis.
Oh, I didn't know about the CoinFlex one, so that's two different things. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he lives in Japan and St. Kitts. So I'm not sure if he's in a position like. I don't know if they can extradite him. I don't know how any of that stuff works. I mean, he left the United States because of the way the legal system works, man. He got run through the ringer way prior to crypto with fireworks, I believe.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I remember that. Sure did. Yeah, he lived in Ohio, right?
Because I had studied law. I'm not sure where in the United States, because I've looked into the law stuff, and he's got basically he's what you would call an expat. He expatriated his citizenship. He decided to stop being a U.S. citizen and a citizen of another country, which would be your right of self-determination. But I tried to dig into that, and that's kind of where me and him started to have a disconnect. Prior to me starting to ask those questions, and he said he would talk with me about it privately, but we just never did. And now he's not very responsive to me at all. But when I first started interviewing him, because I've had him on my show 3 times, he even took those interviews and put them on Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we had some really good conversations, explaining about the hash wars and all this kind of stuff. But I can't really get much of a response from him. I'm not sure what he's doing these days. I would love to find out what he thinks about what's been going on, but he's just not been very public. And it's weird. The
CoinFlex one was they pretty much gave him unlimited margin. He had some agreement where they would never close any of his positions.
Pull up Happy's comment.
Yeah.
Next year, we're going to go to this. I talked to Bruce Fenton. I interviewed Bruce Fenton while he was running for senator. He, I think, runs the Satoshi Roundtable. He told me I have an open invitation. If it's just I don't have my passport, it is in Dubai. So next year, man, we're going to have to go to the Satoshi Roundtable.
Jerucker Rice will be in the building. Next article out of Daily Coin. Oh, here's your boy. Here's your buddy. Oh, Charlie Munger.
Can you download that picture and put it up?
Nah, I ain't putting that up, man.
I'm talking so people know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy in the wheelchair from the movie Red Dragon as part of the Silence.
That's not what you sent me.
Yeah, that is. It's part of the Silence of the Lambs trilogy. It's the last movie in it. That guy was he wanted Hannibal Lecter to be captured so he could feed on the pigs, because that guy looks like that because he was tripping on acid or something with Hannibal Lecter and ended up like slicing off most of his body.
Here's
what he looks like.
Here's another example, Rice, of these elites.
Because isn't he 99?
Huh?
Isn't Munger 99?
Yeah, he's up there. This is what I'm saying. Like,
I think he's 99.
Is it that the universe just had so much favor on these individuals and that's how it manifested? They were wealthy, lived long, or what, bro? I'm trying to figure this out.
I just think they have access to the best of the best. I mean, when you have that much money, nothing is really an obstacle for you. So, I mean, these guys can afford to hire attorneys. I mean, they can hire doctors. They can afford to do all this and have their own research institutes just to keep their old asses alive. They probably do. I mean,
I don't know.
Look at
Soros. Said.
Jorge Soros. Look at him. I don't even know how old he is. I don't even think it's public knowledge how old he is. I think he's been around for
it's
several
a recurring
centuries.
theme, bro. I don't know. It's something going on. But the VC, they're talking about Berkshire Hathaway, attributed the adoption and rise of cryptocurrencies to a lack of government regulation, asserting that the U.S. should enact new federal laws and eliminate the gray areas in which this quote-unquote wildly and woolly, never heard, that's a new one for me, woolly?
That could capitalism. That could be the next word.
That could be potentially. I'm flummoxed from that one.
That is a flummoxing word.
Has been unraveling. He goes on to say, according to Munger, cryptocurrency is not a currency, not a commodity, and not a security, but rather a gambling contract with a nearly 100% edge for the house. I mean, you know, I'm saying all this. We all know, and we've heard the commentary from Munger, but it's just interesting.
I mean, look, these guys, I mean, if you go and look at like I haven't looked recently, but look at the companies that they invest in. I mean, ultimately, these guys are tied to the legacy system. I mean, this is how they've made their money. And cryptocurrency is a threat to that. But I think at the same time, I do think that these guys are putting out a bunch of misinformation, disinformation on purpose. Like I had mentioned about Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan. It was Swift. What I always keep it's the bank is not Swift Bank, is it? What is the bank that JP Morgan owns? It's not Shift.
But it's the bank that they own.
Yeah, there's a bank that's owned under the JP Morgan name that purchased a bunch of Bitcoin. Someone in chat will know.
Yeah, of course they'll know.
But I mean, they're driving the price down, saying negative things. Blood transfusions of steamed rice, ironically. Interesting. Rice is I met several beautiful Asian ladies in Austin, Texas that were around Adam Charles that told me that rice is the pearl of heaven. Yeah. And I offered them the pearl of heaven.
And they declined.
Well, no, I was told I can't get in that that particular Uber by Adam Charles. I was told I had to get another ride.
Is he? No, I don't think you're talking about Chase.
No. It's not Chase.
I don't know anything about that part.
And maybe it is, and I'm just like, I'll look, but it could just be Chase, and I got my brain fucked up.
Yeah, Red Snapper. I saw this earlier this week about ordinals and NFTs on Bitcoin's blockchain. Interesting take, interesting concept. But yeah, listen, we can't put everything on Bitcoin. Like I know the maxis would love for that to be the case, but unfortunately, that's not real life. We're gonna have multiple blockchains for multiple use cases and implementations of various things. So hey, it just is what it is. I want to go over this part though in the article, Rice, that I found pretty interesting because Munger essentially said that he thinks that if you take a look at history, there were two precedents set. Okay, the first one, which he believes the U.S. can go down a similar path. The first one being that China, of course, banned cryptocurrencies, stating that China, that it concluded that cryptocurrencies would harm its people more than benefit them. Okay, so he's saying that is not use case, but case study that the
but they've undone all of that though since haven't they? Because I don't think cryptocurrency is illegal. Is it still?
Yes.
Okay.
Still banned.
Okay.
Yep. It's still banned. I don't know.
And I think it was Chase. I don't know why I was thinking something like S, but yeah. But go ahead.
And then the second precedent was Munger referencing the occurrence in the early 1700s when England was in a depression after a promotional plan failed. The English Parliament reportedly banned all public trading in new common stocks for about 100 years. I didn't know about this piece of history. At the time, England made significant contributions to the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution and spawned a new country called the United States. So
what's interesting about that, though, is you probably had people that wanted to invest in private companies versus their own nation, and the nations were probably suffering. And you've seen all these corporations at the time, maybe becoming more powerful in those aspects, which is kind of ironic that it would happen back then. But it makes sense that you want to try to make sure all investments are being done within the nation itself for the improvement of the nation versus people investing in all these private companies and profiting off their investments. I did not know that, though. It kind of reminds me of 1933 with the gold confiscation as well. Governments can be pretty tyrannical, man. We can't forget the past.
That's why I wanted to bring this up, the highlighted red part there, Rice, because I just feel like, I want to ask you, do you think the U.S. would ban Bitcoin if we got into a crisis mode where our sovereignty as far as monetary system was eroding and we were like just trying to throw everything.
It's too late, in my opinion. I think it's too late for them to do like a complete ban. I think they would go more towards a global currency, like a one world currency, before they went even.
But see, a one world currency, I'm not a fan and believer in that concept that the United States would. See, it doesn't benefit.
I'm not saying it has to be the United States, though. I'm just saying before all fiat systems crash and they are in the verge of crashing and trying to say.
No, so I'm not saying all fiats. I'm saying in particular U.S. Right? If we're in the jam, let's say there's another accord, Bretton Woods or whatever accord that occurs, and other countries come together, the BRICS or whatever, and behind our backs and says, okay, we're gonna either start a new currency, fiat currency, or issue or take up another or recognize another one as the world currency. Would the U.S. start banning things like cryptocurrencies to kind of try to get back power?
If we got to that extreme of a situation, maybe, possibly. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think we're going to be in that particular situation, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to.
You don't?
No. But I think I think any governments that really try to outright ban Bitcoin, especially in a world of, if we're in a world of the like 1984 Orwellian CBDCs where you have no privacy and you have a social credit score attached to it, and you try to ban something like Bitcoin, it's going to really raise a lot more positive awareness for Bitcoin. I think it would backfire for them to make a point of saying you cannot use something like Bitcoin, because it would be really pointing towards the freedom versus the control mechanisms they have. Because if you just look at a comparison of a CBDC and a Bitcoin, unless you really appreciate what a CBDC under a social credit score is going to offer, you're going to love what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, hence why I think they would go ahead and ban it if things
and
really
I
hit
think
the
it
fan,
would backfire.
bro.
I think it would backfire. I think enough people start using technologies, the government can't do anything about it. I mean, look in the past when they tried to, I'm not saying Bitcoin is alcohol, but look at the prohibition. I mean, when enough people get involved, I mean, enough people say no and enough people participate, there's nothing that governments are going to be able to do. But it takes people. It takes numbers. It takes us all coming together and being united versus like the divided nation and divided world that we are.
Yeah, one interesting thing that Juan Fitty said that EU is banning Linux distros, which he says, Bitcoin runs on Linux. So I don't know if you guys want to connect or try to connect.
Bitcoin nodes run on Linux. I don't understand because I've never run a Bitcoin node. So is that what he means?
Mm-hmm.
And what is a Linux distros?
I'm not.
Are you familiar?
I'm not.
I mean, I just know Linux is being Linux is being an operating system, but I'm not sure what Linux distros is.
Red Snapper says one angle governments might pursue is KYC, the internet to control Bitcoin.
That I can see happening.
Internet crash.
Because we've already heard the idea that let's say you're using a non-custodial wallet that you possess and control your private keys of. In order to off-ramp your crypto to get out of the system, you're going to have to send that. And this has been projected and proposed. You would have to send your cryptocurrency to a KYC wallet. So they have to identify you. I think them trying to identify you as a user so they can tax you or whatever the case might be with the situation.
Ban it. That would be a ban. That to me, Rice, that is an implementation of a ban.
By centralizing it, like things like the Lightning Network, like kind of like just the government doing something like the Lightning Network, so they can control and understand and not have to put so much into the resources into chain analysis. Exactly. I don't call it a ban though. It
would be a ban because then they would basically ring fence citizens.
Yeah, because then it would be controlled. It would be tied into a social credit score, because then they could actually take and say, like they do with on the Ethereum network, they can say that your Bitcoin address is now blacklisted, that no one can accept anything from your, and they can program wallets to.
They can already do that on Bitcoin. They can taint tokens. They already
tainting it, but not preventing someone from using is two different things yet.
Yeah, true.
Because I might have a flagged coin, but I don't think that there's anything that's stopping me from sending my flagged coin to an exchange to you.
Oh, no, well, in the US, yes. I've had friends that have had their coins or accounts shut down because of tainted Bitcoin.
Okay. Did they lose the tainted Bitcoin?
I'm not sure.
That would be the question. Because once they send it into the exchange, especially if it's a centralized exchange, that exchange has control of that tainted Bitcoin. So
that's right. I'll have to ask him.
And then if you send Bitcoin to an exchange and you don't do anything with that Bitcoin and you take that Bitcoin and send it back to your wallet, is it going to be the same Bitcoin that you sent to the exchange in the first place?
That's a good question.
I don't think so.
Not, but they can still chain analysis see. Even if it's mixed up a little bit, they'll be able to see.
Unless you use like a non-KYC exchange like KuCoin or something like that and you can use things like VPNs, other computers. You can go to your public library and log in. There's all kinds of ways you can obfuscate.
Yeah. So
and I think we need to start teaching people more about obfuscating.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just not too confident in the obfuscation tools that we have, other than Tornado Cash, which they ban. That lets me know that works. Yeah. We've had this discussion before.
Yeah, we have.
So Red Snapper said, pay attention to the Italy internet crash, which I starred Mastermind's comment earlier. He said, did you guys hear about the cyber attack in Italy today that shut down their internet? start of a cyber pandemic. Did you hear about that? I did not hear about.
No, I wanted to look it up while we were talking about it.
So we'll look into that, guys, and get back to you on that. But if you take a look at what happened with the air traffic control situation here in the United States a couple of weeks ago.
Internet service communications provided by TIM Network, which I guess would be like an internet service provider. That sounds like something that happened in Canada a couple months ago. Canada had one of their, because they had one of their major, what's the word, telecommunication, but it's also internet. So I'm not sure if internet's included under telecommunication, but it was phone and internet. And it was like pretty much half of Canada had lost service. This was several months ago, like maybe 4 months, 5 months ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
It sounds really similar to that, but man, if you listen to what was said at the World Economic Forum in Davos this year, I mean, in regards to cyber attacks and all this, I mean, they're pretty much setting us up for a cyber attack. And there's a lot of question of whether the internet will be taken down temporarily, and then in order for people to start utilizing the internet, you'll have to basically go through an identification
KYC
system. Yeah, like basically what Canada's got, or excuse me, what China, I said Canada, but I meant to say China, but Canada makes
Same
sense
thing.
too. Yeah,
I
was going to say, might as well say the same thing, but China's that way right now. Like I had interviewed somebody, not mentioning who, was using, was not apparently using their ID when they signed into doing the interview, and we were on Zoom, and about 20 minutes or so into the interview, they had he just went black, like he lost the internet. And then
like
he
black as in black like me, or
no, like the screen went black, like it hit, like his camera, like basically instead of like logging off, I get what you're saying, but instead of like logging off, it was just like shutting the power off your computer while you're in the middle of a Zoom. And when he came, I messaged him on WhatsApp. And then when he got back on, he had told me what happened, and he told me he wasn't identified. He had his communication cut off and was apparently called by, I don't know, police or whatever, that basically were like, identify yourself. So that he had to
get the hell out of here.
He had to go back in and sign into the computer with his credentials. And then we were able to continue the interview. But he explained to me, I'll send you the interview so you can see what happened, because I had to edit that part out.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a crypto project too.
It's interesting to see. I was shocked to see Canada become so tyrannical so quickly. I always looked at Canada as kind of a, laissez-faire, easygoing country.
That's before we were aware of the World Economic Forum. That's before we were aware of the young global leaders, and before 2020. I think 2020 changed a lot of shit, man. That's why I think the saying that we used to use, what is it? Something about 2020 and looking back on things. 2020 is a very pivotal year. It's changed a lot of stuff. I didn't really think of Canada as being, I started seeing flaws in their health system and stuff like that, but I still thought of them as being like a wholesome, good nation. Not like the socialist kind of agenda that's going on in the control. All that shifted for me in 2020. I don't know about everybody else watching, but 2020, I think, was just like a big year of like people saying exactly who they were.
Yeah, for sure.
Like show your color year.
Exactly. Make sure you guys smack that Georgia peach.
That's a beautiful peach.
Real hard. Smack that like booty, please, for us. We need it. 59 people in the building. We should have at minimum 59 thumbs up. Please help us out. We would grow. Minimum. Let me get to this comment here. I think there was another comment that I wanted to talk about and touch on. I guess not. I thought there was one, but Vlad. Shout out to Vlad.
You didn't say. I don't think your thoughts on the internet going down and that whole.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some cyber war going on. I think the FAA situation a couple of weeks ago here in the United States was definitely something cyber related, cyber attack related, without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you think it would be any connection with what happened on the FAA in the United States, I think, and other countries where their flight shit went down? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Okay, that in connection, it's like a whole lot of different things are like almost stress testing.
Maybe, I get you can look at it two ways.
Well, stress testing in a way,
governments are stress testing, or it could be other governments attacking us. It could go either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that's coordinated. I mean, that's why you're seeing it happen around the world. I mean, we've spoken before, like prior to the escalation of 2020. I mean, there was like test beds happening around the world with different things. You had Zimbabwe and Venezuela with the hyperinflation and how people are going to react. The financial situations happen in Greece. What China has implemented with their social credit score and their facial recognition, utilizing AI before now AI is becoming like a whole buzzword all over again. And then even hearing someone like Klaus Schwab saying how China is a good example of how the rest of the nations around the world should model themselves after and be. And it's crazy when you know, and people are just sitting at home talking and wondering about the Super Bowl.
Ain't it crazy?
Yeah, and at this point, I don't think the Super Bowl should have any relevance in people's lives. I mean, if you guys are going to keep paying attention to the Coliseum circus games, this is just Rome all over again. You guys are just falling for the shiny bright lights to distract you.
Wow. So my crypto space UK said Italy has sounded the alarm. Its servers all over the world attacked. So this is interesting, bro. I had no clue about this.
I mean, it's been leading up to it, dude. I mean, the Cyber Polygon stuff, it's all this stuff has been leading up to it. And if you look at like all the different things that happened before 2020 with scenarios and events.
Grammys is today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on CBS. Corey just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Good timing. Wonder what kind of devil's ceremonies we'll see all those awesome artists do. Maybe Lucifer will come out and make an appearance. Maybe he'll host the fucking Grammys this year.
Maybe Will Smith will say this.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
That wasn't the Grammys, though.
I know. That was
a good one.
Yeah,
they should ban him from attending those events.
I think they did. I don't know. Reuters, Tesla's Elon Musk found not liable in trial over 2018 funding secured tweet. That's pretty interesting. I just wanted to touch on that. A U.S. jury on Friday found Tesla Inc. CEO Elon Musk and his company not liable for misleading investors when Musk tweeted in 2018 that he had funding secured to take the electric car company private. The reason I even brought this up, Rice, is because I forgot about this. I forgot he attempted to take Tesla private before attempting to take Twitter private. This is interesting. What are your thoughts on this? I totally forgot about this. I remember when this happened. It was a big deal.
I don't even know what to fucking think about Elon Musk, man. I just don't.
You can't figure him out?
Nope. I don't know what to think. I'm just not a fan. I still am getting bad vibes. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I just feel like it's infighting amongst the elite. Like trying to make a change of the guard. Like Elon, I think Elon wants to rule the world.
You wouldn't be cool with that? If somehow he was able to be the world leader?
I'm not cool with any world leader.
But if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
If I had to pick one? I don't think I'd even want to see one person rule the world at all. So I can't really pick one, man. I can't think any one individual on this planet having absolute power and control over the entire world. I'm not feeling it.
It's interesting because I have an opposite take on Elon. I think he is.
I would much rather see a decentralized council,
of course,
versus an individual.
We know that's not going to happen.
But I don't know, man. Elon's just
nation states would have to be destroyed for some type of decentralized.
I mean, look at Elon's
council.
Elon just got an interesting track record. I mean, talking about being the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, and people thinking that he's the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, and he's not. I mean, he's not very honest. I'm not sure what his intentions are. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. I don't know, man. I can't get it. I can't get it. I like the fact that he wants to buck the system, but I just wonder if it's him trying to flex, trying to get just like an infight amongst the elites.
I don't see that as an infight, though. Infighting would be to keep things censored in one form or fashion.
It still
under
is,
one narrative.
Man. All he did was lie to people. Like there is still censorship happening on Twitter, and it might even be worse because
come on,
right? I feel like nobody's even looking at my tweets. So either nobody cares about my tweets, which might be fucking possible. Totally cool. Possible. People aren't.
It's possible. Or nobody cares about you, Rice.
People just don't fucking see the shit.
Nah, hit them up. They'll maybe.
Not everybody's back on Twitter. Where the fuck is Alex Jones?
Well, we had an explanation from Mr. Elon about why he's not back,
and that's
on,
bullshit
didn't make
too.
Sense. It is. But look at this comment from Corey. I totally agree with this. Elon is the most powerful force against censorship and tyranny. You can't deny that.
He's the only one right now seemingly stepping up. But what about what the guys at Rumble are trying to do? What about all these other platforms that have been existing? What about the guys at Truth Social, what they may or may not be trying to do? I mean, I can't say that Elon is the more popular of them, but there have been people trying to offer free speech platforms that don't take people off, that allow everybody on the platform and allow for everybody to have an equal voice. And if you're following somebody, you're seeing their tweets and their information or their posts or whatever the case might be.
I will say last night I saw a tweet. Project Veritas lost access to their Twitter account over the releasing of these latest Pfizer videos. I don't know if they're back on yet.
Yeah, what's that all about? Even YouTube got rid of it. Did you see the videos? Have you had a chance to look at any of this stuff?
The one where he was
from the Pfizer,
the black gay boy was
gay. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I saw all that. It's crazy.
150. Please tell me what I'm missing the point of.
Yeah,
because I mean, again, I just think there's more to it, and he's not like, he doesn't have a perfect fucking track record, and there's more to him than what we're seeing.
I mean, you got some people that agree with you. You got some people that are on my side about it. I mean, it's just crazy. That's just life. That's the world. We have different perspectives. Because I mean, I can't see anyone better. Like,
do I want to see him come out and really like represent the people and do something good, but not take the not take the what is the fucking Lord of the Rings, the Ring of Power? Like, there's a difference in that. But do I want to see some people that are going to inspire other people to start standing up and saying no? Fuck yes, man. Like, we don't have any of the renegades that we had in the 60s. We don't have JF Juniors. We don't have MLKs. We don't have any of those fucking people standing up and setting examples. Like, he's like,
I feel like everyone that is agreeing with you, Rice, is that person that no matter who it is, we're so used to not having someone be kind of that person that brings us freedom or tries on a broader scale and a more successful route
and
to bring freedom.
Jesus could come down right now. As much as I love the teachings of Jesus and follow Jesus, Jesus could come down right now and say he wants to rule the world, and I'm not going to be cool with that until Jesus proves himself. I don't feel like any one human being on this earth has that capability to do it correctly.
I just feel like you're so used to not having someone. When you see someone that is for us, you may be blinded.
I don't think. I just don't think Elon's for us.
Interesting. So. The establishment won't enable another MLK. Or another JFK.
But we don't have, but he gets what I'm saying. We don't have those people inspiring us today. We need those people inspiring. We need people that are like, Jordan Peterson is kind of taking a stand against the World Economic Forum. We need people like that. Now, I don't know if Elon is standing against the World Economic Forum. I mean, I can't. It's just Elon doesn't have a great track record. If Elon was a different individual and had a different past, it might be a little bit different. I might have a different opinion.
Look at this comment from Mark Smith. Everyone needs a hero. Elon is Trump replacement. Damn, that's why I like Elon.
Leads to transhumanism.
Might be flaw. Might be some flaw in my
We might just be fucked.
I sure do like.
We
Trump,
live in a
boy.
simulation, anyways. Why does it fucking matter,
it
man?
Matter. It doesn't even matter.
We're just batteries.
Jesus doesn't have to prove nothing.
I don't know, man, because at this point, I don't know. Anything that comes out of the clouds, I'm going to question what the hell it is. If it came out the clouds, and if it just appeared out of nowhere, that's magic, man.
You would think that was evil. You wouldn't think.
I'm not saying
good.
evil. I'm not. There's always good and bad of everything. There's a duality of everything.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely.
I just don't feel like. I just feel like we haven't evolved enough as a species for us to get to a point where we can have one human being lead us, and have that be fruitful and beneficial for generations to come, and for the improvement of humanity. I just can't. I just don't see that happening under one individual.
Corey says he cares about his simulation. I do too. No doubt.
I mean, I want my steak to taste like steak. What's the difference between
humans and self-replicating AI robots if they both have a higher intelligent creator? I don't see a difference. Maybe that's the singularity. Daily Coin, speaking of Elon, Tesla incurs a $204 million loss from Bitcoin investment in 2022. Now, they did sell, I think, 64. They actually were up, I think, $64 million or something. So the net loss, I think, was $140 million that they lost.
But they sold. Do we see anything about them purchasing back in? Was this a tax harvest?
No.
Was this taking a loss?
No, they did not. From at least at this point, we don't have any filings showing that they purchased back in. They sold 75% of their holdings in cryptocurrency and used
Tesla's still
a
publicly held company,
traditional
correct?
Currency. Yes.
So
what do you think? How do you feel about? And was that a canary in the coal mine, a harbinger, or whatever word you want to use? Was that a forecast of things to come for crypto, for Bitcoin, to see Tesla sell 75% of their holdings? What did you feel like?
I mean, you'd have to go.
How did you feel about that when that happened?
I would think that people would need to really have an insight as to looking at the Tesla's balance sheet and seeing where the position was as a company. Because I mean, again, if it's not a private company, it's public. There's going to be a board of directors. There's going to be investors that have an input into this. It's not just one individual. It's not Elon's company. If it was private, there would be a different situation. I think it would have been smart. I mean, sell and buy back in, because ultimately, that Bitcoin is going to be going up and to the right.
But because they didn't, what does that signal to you, if anything?
It doesn't say anything about Elon. It just shows that the fucking people at Tesla are disconnected, just like apparently most of the older people in today's world are as well. I mean, if you try to have a real conversation with most older people about Bitcoin. If people are unfamiliar with Bitcoin, try to convince and encourage them to start utilizing crypto, and just have that conversation, because a lot of the digital divide, a lot of older people cannot get the concept of, if I can't hold it, I don't own it.
But they can't hold their 401k, their IRA, their Social Security.
Which they can't hold any of that. That's probably not going to be really around too much longer.
Exactly. So
we're all
it's
getting
to me that they can't get the concept. It's crazy.
I'm not saying all, because I've met plenty of people that are older. Fucking G. Edward Griffin, 92 years old. He gets it. Totally gets it. So I'm not saying all, but the majority of older people. And it's sad too, a lot of these gold and silver people, some of these, especially older precious metals people, just are really anti-crypto, and they complement one another.
Precious metals people or persons are that way because they're talking their bag. Ultimately, bro, we're selfish as human beings, right?
But I thought precious metals people got into precious metals because of their disdain and hatred towards the U.S. dollar and all that shit.
Yeah, of course, initially.
So you would think those kind of things would bring people together.
But once you're so heavily financially invested in one direction, your incentive is to continue that direction and to continue that narrative. So that's why people in crypto, we have to be careful. I know we're so far dug deep into this narrative of Bitcoin is going to save the world and free everyone. I personally don't think that anymore. I used to think that. I used to believe that. In the early days when I got in, I definitely thought it would be.
It has that capability. It just needs people, and people just haven't gotten it. So until the people get it, it's going to be what it is.
Is it because people are flummoxed?
I think CBDCs will make people feel flummoxed.
Really?
And then they might start looking at, maybe I was wrong about Bitcoin.
You think that people will become confused after using CBDCs? Perplexed.
With the fact that, well, when they start having their taxes taken out automatically and all these different things, or whatever the situation might be, with if it's tied to a social credit score, that they may be prevented. Maybe this person might be overweight. They're not allowed to buy Whoppers and not allowed to buy Big Macs anymore. They're cut off. They got cut off from the fatty foods. You know, I think things like that. I think if we get to, that's why I'm encouraging people, because we're going to get a CBDC one way or another. That's why I'm encouraging people to try to get their voice be heard to their constituents, their politicians, so that we can make sure that we're shaping the legislation that's better for the people versus better for the governments, because otherwise we're going to get a CBDC that is going to give governments and banks more control. Like, to the point where, you know, people really need to study 1984 and Brave New World so they can get used to what's coming. Or that, or stand up and make your voice be heard, because otherwise, if you just think about what's been happening over the past 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, anything you may have disagreed with, let's just use Canada with the Freedom Convoy situation.
Canada with a K.
Canada with a K. If they wouldn't have needed to go through a legislative process to get permission to freeze people's accounts, if we have a CBDC that is programmed in, you skip the process of legislation and you just go right to the ban. So it's giving that much more control to banks and governments, and they don't need to have more control than they already have with this entire debt-based system that they have created, that we have to be slaves to, or go fucking live in the woods. It's one of the two. Because, I mean, try living in this world and not paying your bills and things like that. Like, you have to be a slave to this entire system. You have to work so you can pay all your bills. People think we're free because we're not living in, you know, on a plantation specifically, but we're still on a big fucking plantation. We just have a little bit more freedoms. And we think we're free, but we're not very free.
I think the rollout of CBDCs will be successful for them. I don't think it's going to be an issue, because you know what?
Them being the government
are dumb. Yeah.
Well, I think there's going to be a situation I think between now and May and July time period, because Fed now is supposed to launch between May and July. I don't think there's a specific date, but I think between now and then there's going to be something that takes place. And that's going to encourage people to want to utilize the CBDCs, the Fed coin, the digital dollar. It's all the same. USDC, USDT, it's all the fucking same.
Right, but why I say I think it's going to be a successful rollout, because they're just going to do an airdrop. People are going to see how seamless and easy it is to use. They're not going to care. They're already people already don't care, right? So I don't see like some mass transformation in thinking by the people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm being realistic.
We'll see. We'll see how many if we get programmable money that's attached to any sort of social credit score system, we will see. Because you can talk to most Americans and they don't seem to be too cool with that idea. Basically, be a good citizen, do what you're told, or you're not going to be able to participate in our reindeer games. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be cool with that, man. But they're not going to they're not going to realize what it is until after the fact. I mean, the CBDCs aren't going to come out being the evilness they are. They're going to be a good solution. But then, like I said, they get rid. Okay, so nobody's talking about these Republican politicians that are talking about the idea of abolishing the IRS. Why would any politician be talking about?
Shout out to the red team for that one.
But they're not doing it. They're not doing it for the reason that people are thinking. They're not doing it because they're going to get rid of taxation. Because you don't need IRS when you have programmable money.
No, you don't.
You just take the fucking money. You just take it. You just take it out of people's accounts. You take it out of their shit. There is no you sending money. There is no more late fines. There is no more you avoiding paying something. You owe.
Hey, but at least you won't owe taxes. Surprisingly.
Because it'll take it off from you.
Yeah.
That's
how I'm saying. This is how the sheep are going to look at it, bro. Think about it. They're like, this is great. Right. Like now I don't have to worry about. I'm just. There's gonna be those people that are gonna be happy with this shit. I mean, when we look at 2020 and all the things that transpired and how many people were cool with taking something that was basically a fucking experiment and putting it in your body, and how many people wisdom bars. There you go.
Now,
he said,
how many people are driving around with a mask in their car by themselves?
Bro, I saw 2 people at this event I was at yesterday had a mask on. They took it down to eat, and then they put it back up after they finished eating, and then they took it back down to talk, and forgot that it was down. Then they put it back up. I'm like, fully indoctrinated.
Yeah, but driving around in a car by yourself.
These are the people, bro, that are going to not have a problem with CBDCs. That are not going to look for alternatives like Bitcoin.
We'll see.
Wisdom Bar said, we've seen that with, you know what? So many people were cool with that. That was the test run.
The job. All these people who want jobs.
Yeah.
Fucking employed.
All they need is a banking collapse or internet reboot to back in, reconfigure CBDC, sign in to online banking, agree to new terms and conditions, Fed dollars now, CBDCs easy. People won't know the difference. Sure won't.
Could be also.
I don't have faith in.
You want to get back on the internet.
Humanity.
If you want to get back on the internet too, you may have to participate in this whole system as well too. Like it's going to be attached to a digital ID along with a CBDC. So I mean, it could all correlate to the same time period. So we start getting some AI doing some weird shit on the internet. And it's not real. It's bullshit. But this is the idea is you got some crazy AI that's going around fucking up the internet. So all the nations of the world are going to shut down the internet, get rid of and purge this AI. And when they reboot it, they're only going to allow for good little citizens to participate. And that's where my channel is going to be done.
The hive will do whatever they're told. Correct. I
have
very little faith in humanity, bro.
Then I'm going to have to go live in the woods and start building my future city I want to live in. I don't know what I want to do when I can't sign into the internet.
No more Pornhub for you, buddy.
I'm good with that. What about my channel?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because I tell you what, man, I'm not going to be a good little citizen. If anything, man, I'm going to get really a lot more vocal about Project Mayhem coming to life in the real world.
Mm.
You know Project Mayhem?
Mm-hmm. Possible. We'll see.
Second Amendment, man, militias. I'm interviewing Sheriff Mack tomorrow. If you know who he is, that's going to be an interesting conversation.
Who is he? Tell the audience about him.
Small town constitutional sheriff. A lot of people think that if you go on the internet,
is a sheriff?
Yeah, he was a sheriff in Phoenix or somewhere in Arizona, not Phoenix, but somewhere in Arizona. And he's like going around trying to educate sheriffs about their constitutional duty and their power as a sheriff, because a sheriff is a different kind of level of a law when it comes to police, when it comes to other jurisdictions coming into their jurisdiction. They're actually supposed to be the ultimate form of control. So they actually have a lot of power. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
I shot the sheriff, but I did not kill the deputy.
But Mac is a very interesting guy.
Yeah, check that out. I'm interested in that. I'm gonna have to check that.
I mean, Wikipedia's got it. I'm not sure when it's coming out. I'm doing the interview tomorrow. It'll be sometime next week on Rice. I might release it on both channels. It's going to be more for Rice Against the Grain, but depending on how it turns out, I may release it on both channels. But it goes into everything that I've been looking into about, what we can do to stand up against the federal government and what protections that we have. Yeah. Because, here's an interesting thing that you may not have thought about, but you can live in an area where they want to do a gun confiscation per se. A sheriff can deputize his entire county. The area that's his constituents, he can deputize everybody, and everybody lawfully has a right to be able to bear arms. And federal government wouldn't be able to come in and say you can't have your firearms. That's some things that have been happening in sanctuary cities. I mean, I think there's going to be a big attack on the Constitution. So the more knowledgeable that we can be on the Constitution and defend it, the more we need that. Because shit, I mean, does a social credit score and CBDC fall in place with our Constitution?
Not at all.
So yeah, I know it's a little off track.
I don't even believe the Constitution is instilled or enacted or current being used right now.
I was trying to look at some of the comments.
Yeah. Let's get to this one though. This is the Fortune article, Rice, that you couldn't see fully. Unfortunately, it was behind the paywall. We're starting to see more
but I
than
did
that
get
happen.
that this guy became a devout Christian after the financial crisis of 2008. So I don't know if he saw the devil in the stock markets.
He saw that 666 print. Yeah, I don't know.
Devil
if you remember,
trades
right?
on the devil trades.
You remember that was a low, right?
What?
The low was 666.
In what?
Help me out in the comments in the chat room, guys.
S&P,
I think, not Dow. Okay. S&P.
In 2008.
9. With the low, whatever the low was, in March of 09, March of.
That's enough to scare the bejesus in you.
Scare the bejesus in you, huh? Well, this guy here, man, he said back in 2017, this guy John Griffin, wonder if he's any relation to G. Edward Griffin, a professor of finance at the University of Texas McCombs School of Business, noticed something strange. So it kind of goes on about his background and how he got scared into Jesus from 2008, and in 2018 he co-authored a book groundbreaking study showing that a single, still unidentified Bitcoin whale almost single-handedly drove the token's giant run-up in late 2017 and early 2018 by distorting the trading in the token. And I think they said this individual single-handedly used Tether to, you probably remember those theories that were going around and stories about that back in the day.
What's
that? Do you call that Tether manipulation to boost the price of Bitcoin?
Yeah,
there was a lot of that going on.
There seemed to be
rumblings of it.
There seemed to be some legitimacy into that. I mean, it made sense. It was like providing more liquidity for the market for it to move in different directions.
There you go.
Thank you, Matthias.
Thank you. 666 March 09. Listen, you can't tell me we don't live in a simulation. Seriously.
I mean,
Come on, man.
No, I'm not saying it's, dude, I interview all kinds of people about this shit. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible that we don't live in a simulation, but there's going to have to be some purpose. Otherwise, it just seems like everything is just futile. Like, there's no purpose in anything if we're in a simulation.
I tend to think of myself as fatalistic. I kind of have a fatalistic mindset.
What do you mean by that?
Fatalism means, you're
bound by fate.
No point. No, it means it's just literally no point.
Let's just end it all. Let's just kill ourselves on a live stream, man. Just prove a point here.
Well, what Corey Corey said,
there is something more to this, is what I'm saying.
His simulation matters to him, and my simulation matters to me. From the agent perspective, I do care about.
If we're in a simulation, I want to figure out a way to break it. That would just be my only goal. How do I get out of it? What's on the other side?
You can't.
Because, yeah, I mean, there's somebody who I've interviewed. There's a channel called Archaics. A guy named Jason Brashears.
I think someone said something about Archaics earlier in the chat room.
Anonymous has been using some of his stuff periodically with the Anonymous official channel. He's got a real interesting theory that, we could be, in a sense, like in a simulation, a simulacrum, and that all these life experiences that we experience are just things that us on the outside of the simulation get to benefit from all these various experiences that we've had throughout time. Actually, Archaics is predicts the internet to go down September of 23, and he's the one with the AI. So he uses some interesting ways of putting together his projections and predictions. He uses like an isometric date sequence thing that goes, you find like a central point, and he has a way of being able to find these central points, and where you can like go 20 years back and 20 years forward and see correlations of events taking place. So he was even talking about 73, I think is when it was, when Nixon was forced to resign, was forced out of office. And he says that before Joe Biden's term is out, he's going to be forced out as well, comparing it to what happened with Nixon. He's got all these different ways of being able to do this. And he also has come up with these. I mean, he definitely says we live in a simulation, and he talks about resets of the simulation that takes place. He says the simulation, his whole idea of Archaics is like ancient research of the chronological something of artificial intelligent X. It's wild shit, man. He lives out in Texas. I've had 2 conversations with him. The second conversation I did Thursday, and I'm releasing it Monday or Tuesday on Rice Against the Grain. It's Cliff High uses something different.
Do you think LSD, DMT, and all those like psilocybin and stuff, you think that helps you break out of the simulation? What do you get from when you do those?
When I do psychedelics, a lot of times it's therapeutic. Sometimes it's like I take mushrooms because I'm trying to experience something more spiritual.
Okay.
Than anything. I don't generally take psychedelics for recreational purposes.
Okay.
I have taken like LSD like maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire life for recreational purposes, and I've done LSD hundreds of times. So a lot of times I'm taking things more for introspective. I could do a lot of internal therapy. I can actually kind of get outside of myself and be able to gain a new perspective of things. But it definitely challenges you from breaking like matrix. If we're in a simulation and there's like a programming, it helps to break you away from the programming to know that there's something beyond the matrix. I feel like some people who haven't taken psychedelics don't think outside the box. And psychedelics for me personally, not that I'm encouraging this for anybody at all, helped me to look beyond
Gotcha.
than what we see. I mean, I've had some interesting experiences where I've had taken like large amounts of LSD in Manassas, Virginia, where I'm from, where Civil War has taken place on actual Civil War battlefields in Bull Run. Have some really interesting experiences, but I prefer natural things. I don't mess with LSD anymore. I just stick with natural stuff, and I love my psilocybin. Eventually, I will trick you into some chocolates.
You better not, man. You
Well,
better not.
don't
Look at this.
don't eat no candy.
I'm not. Now you think you just made me listen. Next time I come to your crib,
well, I'm going to trick you, and you're going to do it.
I'm gonna be fully. The only way you're gonna get me is through a cigar. You better have it dipped in.
We might just be doing LSD.
Here's a Cuban for your CB. So this article that I want to just finish this up so we can get to the whole China balloon thing. Toward the end of 2022, another mystifying trend caught Griffin's eye. Despite the crypto crash and a myriad of other negative forces, every time Bitcoin briefly breached its $16,000 floor, it bounced above that key level and kept stubbornly trading between 16 and 17,000. Now, I just want to stop here because when I saw this article, it really confirmed my suspicions, because I look at charts all day, every day, and I look at, it's like almost a sixth sense as far as seeing price action and just seeing how it moves up and down, and it has not seemed natural since we did hit that $16,000 low, because I felt like it really was going to head lower to 12,000, which was my area where Mr. Elmo was.
What time period are we talking? 2000, like end of 2017?
No, end of 2022.
Okay.
This is now talking about the most recent.
Yeah, but he's saying he saw this happen back in 2020.
Yeah, he saw this happen in 17, 18. He identified, through his analysis, was able to identify one single whale single-handedly drove the token price in the giant run-up in 17 and early 18. So that one
That's crazy how one whale can do that with enough to move the market.
It's not in crypto, because it's such a small market. And you got to think every dollar is not represented by another dollar in crypto. So there's a multiplier effect on that dollar.
Yeah.
So you may put 50 million in, it's going to have a multiplier effect on price. It's not going to just be a $50 million impact on the price of.
So, is he saying was it not natural in 2017 to go from 3 to 20?
Correct.
Because, obviously, like right towards the end of January or end of December, somewhere in December and January is when they launched futures.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even when the Trump administration, and I could probably try to find the article, they had allowed for the trading futures to take place on purpose when they did, so they could throttle the price of Bitcoin from even going higher than 20,000.
So, yeah. But the thing is, I wouldn't personally be looking at an external player like a government agency or something like that would incentive. There wouldn't be an incentive to.
No, I know. I just find it interesting that the government would have. You had multiple levels of manipulation taking place, not coordinated and not for the same purpose, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay. I got
That's what's interesting, because the government obviously did what they did and allowed for futures trading for a reason. Because if Bitcoin would have kept going up at that time period, who knows how it would have this whole thing would have turned out. But it was, and I will try to find the article, see if I can locate it.
So he goes on to say, or the article goes on to say, almost unbelievably, as the crypto market has continued to unravel in 23, Bitcoin has gone in the opposite direction, trading up 35% since January 7th to 23,000. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this part, because there's a huge correlation with Bitcoin's price and stock market price. We've seen the stock market jump 10% since start of the year. So I'm not sure about that part.
Yeah,
as far as that being a reason.
I'll send you an article, but I've got New York Times, Barron's, CoinDesk, Yahoo, Trump administration pop 2017 Bitcoin bubble, XCFTC. Let me pull up the rest of this article. Chair says we saw a bubble building, and we thought the best way to address it was to allow the market to interact with it. Yeah, I'm going to copy it and send it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Red River in the
Red River.
Yeah, Jay Williams said, CV thoughts on the Michael Saylor recording leaked from Altcoin Daily Channel. Is it real or AI? I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it either. I don't believe anything anymore on the internet. AI voice.
Deepfake.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. AI voice.
Actually, what people don't realize is me and Blood are actually in the opposite spot. We're using different technologies. So I have Blood's skin on me and he has my skin on him. So what you see over there is Blood is actually me and I am actually Blood.
It's possible. Very soon. It's going to be indistinguishable.
There's more than just this article. This is just one though.
Okay, Trump popped 2017 bubble. Ex-CFTC chair says, "Yeah, I'm not with as much as I like Trump. Some people go to the extreme, and he can do no wrong, and he's going to fit every narrative."
But I will say this is the Trump administration. That doesn't mean you have King Trump making all the decisions for the administration.
I don't believe Trump liked Bitcoin though.
No president will, in their own right mind, unless they're a president who's coming at this from a different angle, realizing what has been done. Because again, here's the thing. If Donald Trump wanted to have changed things, he could have done things and he could have started the process and the conversation. You didn't hear that. I never heard him say in the Federal Reserve, get rid of taxation of labor. None of that shit came out of Donald Trump's mouth.
Jay Williams, let us know what exactly Sailor said, or someone in the chat room. Let us know, because I saw a glimpse of it, little headlines on it. Yeah, but I did not see the actual details on that. Trump likes the dollar, absolutely, because he's wealthy in the dollar. His wealth is denominated in the dollar, so there's no reason for him to like Bitcoin, because he can't leverage Bitcoin and go out and buy new assets with new debt. So you gotta keep that in mind, guys. Trump is not a Bitcoin supporter or a crypto supporter. I just want to go on with this article because I thought it was pretty interesting. The professor said it's very suspicious. The same mechanism we saw in 2017 could be at play now in the still unreal Bitcoin market. He goes on to say, if you're a crypto manipulator, you want to set the floor under the price of your coin. In a period of highly negative sentiment, we've seen suspiciously solid floors under Bitcoin. So here's what he's referring to. Sophisticated players may be the expert at hiding their identities. We have seen credible leaks asserting that major market participants call meetings of the sector's elite when they fear a crypto leader plans to make what they consider a reckless, industry-endangering move. So you're kind of talking about CZ possibly being that person this go around. Now that SBF is being charged, he'll turn on the other players and could accuse them of collusion. So this is interesting because I could see this possibly happening. At least, when the court case gets started, you're going to start seeing some details from SBF side on things and how things transpired and who he knows and who he talks to and everything. And he may leak some individuals who are major players that may be manipulating the game. I personally think the only person or entity at this point that it would be of self-interest that the Bitcoin price doesn't go any further down will be Binance. I could see Binance being that player here, guys, that Mr. Griffin is trying to identify, and that he's seen very similar activities as he saw back in 17 happening right now. Bitcoin has showed amazing stability amid negative sentiment. This is true. This is very true. Now, it goes on to talk about Griffin and his partner findings from the 17-18 rigging are echoing today. So Griffin's study of the forces behind 17's Bitcoin bubble, provides a guide to the strategies that could be pressing a thumb on the sales post FTX. Griffin, now a professor at Ohio State's Fisher College of Business, first published his 118-page report in 2018 has appeared 2 years later in the prestigious peer-reviewed Journal of Finance. For the team, the tip-off for possible manipulation was the Bitfinex. Yeah, see, the Bitfinex Tether thing is what they exposed. I remember this now. His team was the one that wrote the report that showed concrete evidence of Bitfinex Tether manipulation in propping up the price of Bitcoin back in 17. So it could be Tether again. It could be Bitfinex or /iFinex, the parent company of Tether. they could be part of
It
this.
could be a
as
combination.
Well.
I mean, it could be a combination of all the above, though, man. It could be like,
right.
It could be a bunch of exchanges working together. I mean, when you started talking about Binance, it made me just wonder if there was like an Asian connection, Justin Sun, people who working in coordination, multiple things working in coordination, and then coordination on their own, and even possibly even bigger. So that's why I think too we saw a lot of contagion take place with FTX, and I don't feel like all the contagion is really fully done with either, because I think as
Yes,
the
you're
economy
right,
gets as the economy gets worse.
Yeah, you're right, Red River. He was just saying that this was the guy that was at University of Austin. Yes, this is him. Good memory, very good memory.
So he's in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, the
you gotta get in touch.
master.
See if we can get in touch with him before consensus. Maybe we can do an interview with this cat.
Yeah, for sure. The well-mastered setting a floor and kept the floor rising. So he goes into detail about the manipulation and where the anomalies were. Author also found that the sizable purchases frequently happened when Bitcoin's price reached certain thresholds just below multiples of 500. He said when we saw for more purchases at those benchmarks, the whale kept establishing price floors, and those floors kept rising. It wasn't a club; it was one entity. So he's talking about 17, and I guess what he's ultimately saying here in this article from Fortune Guys is that he's seeing some of the same behaviors going on right now, since I guess the FTX stuff kind of.
I can't see Tether continuing to do that though. I mean, as crypto has gotten bigger, and now that especially with some of the information that we know about Tether, you shared on videos. I shared some of your findings on a video.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I mean, with them working.
What did your audience think about that?
I didn't really get any feedback from that specifically, but I mean, basically, it was like, it doesn't matter if it's I'm not saying it's about every stable coin, but a stable coin on Ethereum, 100%. There's no difference between that, a digital dollar, a Fed coin, or a CBDC. They're all programmable. They can all be frozen. They all give the issuer more control. And that's what we're seeing. So Tether may have been doing some things that weren't necessarily very ethical, but I don't see that. I don't see government agencies turning a blind eye to continual unethical activities while they're working with them. So maybe they've had to be, I think had to do more of a legit game. And a lot of that, I mean, even like as far as appeasing US regulators and things, from what I understand, a lot of the backing for Tether is now treasuries, which would be backed by the US dollar in some capacity, but not having a bunch of foreign assets.
I want to go back and show people what I mean, because I look at charts all day, every day, and I want to just kind of show you guys what I mean by looking at the chart and seeing natural price discovery.
I'm a little fluxed here.
If you guys are late to the show,
unflux me or flumox me, whatever the hell that word is.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Flumox me. Flumox me.
Flumox. That's the new CV 922, 23?
Flummox.
Flummox. Yeah. Word of the day, guys. Flummox. If you're wondering why Rice is using $5 words, because he just
trying to sound smart. I got my smart glasses on and everything.
Yeah, you sure do. Look at Rice, guys.
It automatically just adds intelligence, and then you use words of the day, and you're just like, you're a genius.
All right, so really quickly, because we're coming up on 2 hours, and I definitely want to talk about this balloon thing. But if you guys look here, you can see like how there are waves. They're almost like analog waves that the price of Bitcoin goes through. You'll see periods, and we did have this where it was a flat line. That's okay, because that means there are literally no buyers or sellers, and there's going to be very small or little activity because there's no one looking to buy, no one looking to sell. But when you start looking at, as of recently, not even this is all cool. You see waves. They look very analog, cosine, sine waves, right? But when you start getting up to here, you see these, it starts looking not as cosine, sine-esque. and you see these little dips like this, and then it's a punch through. That was a short squeeze. So what these guys do, these whales, what they know in the short run, they know this. They know that people trade on technicals, right? If an area of support or resistance is breached, it kind of like triggers for the rest of the market to try and be a self-fulfilling prophecy on those price actions. So what the whale needs to do is just push the market up enough to trigger a technical score for the bulls. And that's what it did. But now you're starting to see here, it's not looking as cosine or sine-esque. These little spikes here, see, those are the bulls, or I think whales, colluding to try to trigger more buyers to get in at these levels. But they failed big time. And this again, guys, this arrow is FOMC. Well, it really is moved over as this wick, this candle right here, where we saw a wick down, and then we went
which is ridiculous, man. I mean, the raising of interest rates excited the market. That just doesn't make any sense when you think about it. I get that it wasn't as big of a spike as people were expecting, and it was kind of priced in at 25 basis points, but it's like, yeah, it is raising the interest rates. I mean, people are celebrating that we have high numbers of inflation that are going down from the previous month, but we're still celebrating high inflation.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's
crazy.
It's like, this is the world that we
live
in.
As I stated at the beginning, we've pretty much traversed this whole run up that was a short run up from the FOMC interest rate on Wednesday. We clawed back all of that. So now we're back to where we should have been, I think even lower than this, which is this gap here. This gap here is going to be filled, I believe, and we're going to see us test this trend line right here. I'll change the color really quickly. I know we got a lot of trend lines on there.
We had the CME gap, I think, around 19.5.
CME gap, I've heard, yep, is around 19.5 as well. So, hey, this is what it is, guys. I mean, manipulation can be seen if you look close enough, and you'll see the price action isn't a normal wave sign.
And it's also crazy how many people, they see a little bit of upward action and all of a sudden assume that we're just out of this bear market and that we're in a bull market and that we're off to the races and everything is just GTG and we got 100K Bitcoin. It's coming. It's just crazy how fucking people think when it comes to some of these things, and they don't use their logical mind and think about things.
They use their emotions. That's all. Most of them aren't real traders. Don't have experience like that. Everyone looks successful and good in a bull market because it just goes up anyway. So it really wouldn't matter, right? But you know the real ones in the bear market. Let's take a look at the final one though. Rice out of Reuters. U.S. fighter jet shoots down suspected Chinese spy balloon. Now, when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay. But when
it happened in South Carolina, and apparently it went through North Carolina, and I was looking for it, man. It just wasn't in my eyesight by any means. I was hoping it would have been like in range.
What were we gonna do?
Take a picture.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a video. What the fuck was I gonna do?
I didn't know. I thought maybe we were gonna shoot it down or something. I don't know.
No, I don't think that would have been a smart idea on my part to just fire a gun at the Chinese balloon in downtown Winston-Salem.
So, of course, Langley Air Force Base. Shout out to my man Jim Willie for putting me up on Langley. I didn't know that stood for CIA. F-22 fighter jet shot it down around 2:39 p.m. What was interesting here, bro, is that I didn't know that this thing had been floating around in Alaska, Canada, and then re-entered.
Apparently,
what the hell?
It's just been making its way around, man. It's crazy. And what's really interesting is, like, I posted a few things on Facebook and Twitter about this, and a lot of flat Earth people kind of came out of the earthworks saying that this is one of the fake satellites that we have up above us. whether or not that's true or not, the idea that we have another country's equipment,
this is total disrespect.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, this is the real question. Like, why are we anybody using balloons? Like, China specifically,
clearly,
they had
clearly
TikTok.
that was
TikTok
a success.
Seems to be better than a balloon.
But TikTok is banned on all government devices.
They're supposed to have satellites. I mean, they're supposed to have more technologically advanced equipment. I mean, hot air balloons are like antiquated. Like, I'm not really sure. It's really interesting how the Chinese are trying to downplay this whole thing and making it out like we're making it out to be a big deal. But any foreign object, no matter what it is from another country in another country's land, should be looked at as a threat. And I think it was Wednesday when Biden made the order of take this thing down. And then it was officials at the Pentagon who were like, we just can't take it down. We got to make sure we're taking it down in a place that doesn't have any repercussions on people that live in the vicinity of where we're taking it down. So water would be the best bet. So they waited till it got to the water. But they had to have known about it, and they had to have known about it before we knew about it, before it started becoming something on the mainstream narrative.
It says that in this article, actually, Rice. But just to go back, this is the part that had me flummoxed. The balloon entered U.S. airspace in Alaska on January 28th before moving into Canada's airspace on Jan 30th.
Well, obviously, Canada didn't care because it's still technically China airspace.
Come on, exactly. It then re-entered U.S. airspace over northern Idaho. Okay. How does it go from Alaska to Canada in just 2 days? Well, Alaska into, I should more so say Idaho in what?
I definitely got to say I'm not well versed in the dynamics of balloons.
I know the jet stream does move fast.
Yeah, I'm sure that it
does
caught
move
wind
pretty
with
fast.
Something. So I'm sure something helped it to escalate its way down. But it's still it's just.
U.S. defense officials said once it crossed over U.S. land, it did not return to open waters, making a shoot down difficult, which I understand.
But I'm sure there was plenty of areas where it was very rural and there weren't very many people, and they would have been able to project its trajectory, and they could at least have told people, "Hey, get out of the area," because we don't know what kind of threat it could have represented before it got to water for us to get rid of it. We don't know what the purpose of it was. I don't even know if they really have truly examined it. I don't know if they just. I watched a Saturday Night Live clip, and it looks like it's floating in the ocean and saying, "Hey, man, you just shot me down."
We saw the balloon because we were supposed to see it. The U.S. government has proven itself to be beyond untrustworthy.
And then it makes you question too, because obviously it doesn't seem like the military would be cool with something like this. So is this our own balloon? Is this something that is?
I don't think so.
I don't. It raises a lot of questions in my mind. It also shows a little bit of incompetence on our end. Is there no technology that we could have used could they have not tried to have used a big giant hair blow dryer to push it towards the ocean quicker? Could planes not have flew in with some net, grabbed it, and took it to the ocean a lot quicker, right away? There was a lot of things. I get they wanted to make sure they weren't hurting civilians. Cool. But don't we have other technologies to make that process faster? Because this just became this. And what was this distracting us from? Everybody's paying attention to some fucking balloon. Balloons and bubbles and best friends. Good times.
Hey, man. Balloon lives matter, too.
Balloon lives matter, man. Fucking A.
BLM.
Yeah. Well, balloon LM.
Bloom.
We can't confuse it. We can't. It can't be confused. But because actually, balloon lives might be the most important lives that we need to concern ourselves with, and maybe that's why we should have not shot it down so prematurely. Maybe we should just let it live, man. Don't balloons deserve to live too?
Hashtag that, ladies and gentlemen. BLM. Let's get that rolling.
Balloon lives matter too.
Let them know Crypto Blood seeded that one. The Air Force has jet planes, not net planes. Corey
okay,
said.
but they can connect nets to the jet planes and make them net jet
bro.
planes. Net jet.
America has a reason to be China.
I mean, it could be a reason to try to set up negative sentiment as well, so that it leads us into that direction of, oh, yeah, America, they put a balloon in our country. You got to go and fight them now. Take your jobs.
U.S. Representative Mike Rogers, who is a Republican, said, it's clear that the Biden administration had hoped to hide this national security failure from Congress and the American people.
Yeah, we were hoping that people wouldn't see this giant balloon with a satellite attached to it just floating across the fucking continent for a couple days. We were just hoping that nobody would see it.
Bro, this is...
We're going to change definition of words and hope people don't see a giant fucking balloon.
This is... right here is more... This is the absurdity of it all. So, China's foreign minister said, China had clearly asked the U.S. to handle this properly in a calm, professional, and restrained manner. The U.S. had insisted on using force, obviously overreacting, because guess what, guys? Balloon lives matter too. So overreacting, using force, obviously overreacting.
I mean, I think that we are obviously in the early stages of...
This could be the
what's taking place in Europe right now. Taking place is going to expand outward to the entirety of the world, and will take place in the third time that the world has been involved with a war.
There you go, Bob.
Well, Bob just said what I was trying to say. It's just I'm not sure if those combination of letters and numbers are going to trigger the algo, but yeah, it's the beginning of that, man. The world is getting involved. I mean, we've seen a clip from Biden from when the beginning of the escalation between Ukraine and Russia, talking about if we were to send planes, trains, and automobiles over to Ukraine, it would be World War III. And now we're sending tanks over to
exactly.
Ukraine.
Mike Warren said it best, and this is what I heard. We've known about it for like a month. And it's just like, yo, we slipping, bro. I
wouldn't necessarily say slipping.
What would you say? What would you call this? This is straight total disrespect.
Biden is too close to China, and he's allowing for things to take place, obviously. I mean, that's the only slipping I see taking place, because I don't see any other president allowing for this to just float on by. It seemed like all the other presidents, not that I agreed with all of them, at least seemed to have balls of some capacity, whether they're two little pebbles in a sack, but had balls. This president that we have now has been castrated. He does not have testicles. No testicles. No
China.
Testicles. No testicles for Biden.
Oh man, I just again,
and just like Bad Main Light said, I would definitely say, man, his son has caused him a lot of fucking problems. But it's not just his son, because his son was a conduit for Biden getting wealthier. So ultimately, Biden is just selling us out. Has sold us out for quite some fucking time.
Of course,
but they all sell us out.
I don't think Trump did.
I don't know.
You can't say Trump sold out America, bro.
No, I mean, I can't say he sold out America,
he did everything.
But he still is part of the same fucking bird.
See, I don't think so, bro.
I do.
Let us know in the comments.
That's why we have great conversations.
Do you think Trump was a
Black
part of the bird?
pro-Trumper and the white anti-governmenter?
What is the analogy you use? To bird, what do you say? Wing of the same bird? How do you say? How did you say?
Two wings, same bird.
Two wings, same bird. Let us know in the comments below.
Two wings. Yeah,
let us know if Trump was part of the same bird. Let us know. One for he was part of the same,
or the American Phoenix, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Let me know if Trump was a part of it. One, he was. Two, he was not. Let
and
us know
aside
right
from
now.
JFK, tell me another politician that wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
Corruption. It seems like I mean,
systemic.
We just absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean, look at our fucking presidents. I mean, I definitely don't want one person to be in charge of this world.
We got a 50-50 vote at this point.
We got 2 votes.
2 votes.
What was
Trump
the vote
was
again?
The best. 1, meaning he was part of he was part of your proverbial
same bird. 2, he was not.
Same bird. 2, he's not. He was independent, not really, and that's what I think. That's why the Republicans hated him. That's why the Democrats hated him, because he was not part of the same bird.
But the swamp wasn't drained.
Of course not, because he got in there and figured he saw he couldn't. There's no way he can't. One person can't drain the swamp.
Well, I mean, obviously,
got a lot of ones coming in, bro.
There's a lot
1.5. That's
1.5. I just look at all politicians as being the same. I mean, they haven't arrested Ron Paul's son. What's his fucking name? Rand. Who's been speaking out, calling for
exactly. He couldn't drain it himself, bro. There's no way.
You had to get rid of the government. You have to invoke what Thomas Jefferson said in our Declaration of Independence and the things that we have a right to do if our government is not for and of by the people. There is a responsibility that we have. If Trump had that responsibility, he would have initiated the Patriots then.
So Jeff says that Trump bent over backwards for Big Pharma.
I don't know. He did push
Operation Warp Speed. Was that?
He did push through the vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Collins is nice knowing me. I've said a lot more worse things, Bob, and I'm still her. Still her.
Jeff, in regards to that whole Operation Warp Speed, you got to remember, I think he was pressured into that. I'm not trying to give an excuse, but you got to recall Trump was not for the
Well,
jab.
He took that. He did.
We don't know. We don't know.
He said traditionally he got one of the 3. He was insinuating that what he did was no way we would know other stuff.
There was no way we would ever know that. But I do know that he was kind of against the jab, and that's what molded
against the jobs,
divide.
Man.
Yeah, it was. That's what molded the segregation of America, with the liberals being more pro-job and the Republicans, conservatives being not so much for the job.
Well, there was also big
was not for the job.
There were also big donations from Trump's side to a lot of organizations that were pushing for those for the vacations. I can pull up some older articles and go back through some of my older stuff back when this was happening, but I just don't look at none of these politicians. I mean, they're all, if Donald Trump was really doing something that was really for us, the people, he wouldn't fucking be here today. All the people who have done something that really stood up, they get killed. If you're still alive, I got to question why you're alive. Just like the tornado cash thing. If you're a mixer service and you're still around,
I hear you. Good point. I just think that this day and age, it would have been too obvious to do the assassination.
Talk about simulation. I mean, look what they apparently found in his home in Mar-a-Lago, and then we had the same situation happen with Biden, and now with fucking Pence, with having top secret documents.
So what I've heard is
that running the same simulation on 3 different characters to see how the public's going to react. It's not going to take no work at all. Let's just replicate what we just did.
Bro.
And you get 3 different reactions. 3 different reactions from different groups of people about 3 different people doing the same fucking thing.
They ran a wild if statement. They ran a wild statement, guys, on 3 different candidates. No, but I heard that actually the ex-presidents having top secret information,
it's probably common
in their personal, is very common. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah. So
but again, why do they go after Trump? Why do they lie on Trump? Why do they blow everything out of proportion for Trump? Why don't they want him to go and run again? Why the Jan 6 still a freaking topic of discussion?
It's dying out. I mean, they're trying to make it a topic of discussion, but it's dying out. Man, there wasn't nothing to fucking find. I was there, man. I mean, I wasn't in the building, but I was there. You know, what I experienced was not what people saw on fucking TV.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's playing that role, Red River, for the jobs. He's for the jobs. I mean, I think because it would be political suicide if he came out and said he wasn't for the job.
No, it'd actually be, I think, probably the most bravest thing that he could do to come out with some of this information that you see that have been released in some of these documents. I mean, dude, I've seen some documentaries, man, where they're like flat out showing that back in the 90s where companies were copywriting the SARS shit. And it's like either because you can't patent nature. So either they did a illegal patent by patenting nature, or they created the fucking thing and patented it, which you're not supposed to do. It's against fucking international law. So either way, what they did was fucking illegal. And just pointing out that fact with factual information to the American public would have been the bravest fucking thing he could have done, instead of like saying, oh, I will succumb to you and I will bow down to you and I will push this agenda. Just my opinion.
Well, there you have it, guys. 61 people in the building. Please smash that like button for us. Great conversation with Rice tonight. I have a link to his Twitter in the description of this video, and I think he has a link to my information if you're watching on Rice TVX.
Make sure you subscribe to both.
Subscribe to both. Smash the like button. Smack the booty, whatever you want to call it. Black lives matter, but balloon lives matter even more.
What about black balloons?
Right? Black balloon lives matter. BBLMs.
What about
that? Sounds
them?
like a
black balloon.
That sounds like a butt lift. I'm going to give me a BBLM.
A black balloon lift. Black balloons. Man. Imagine if that balloon would have been black.
Black balloons matter, guys. I just need you to please donate to the organization, my nonprofit.
Let's start it.
I'm gonna do right by you guys. I'm gonna go buy me a house, and where do I want to
net
live?
Jets. We'll invest in some net jets so we can get
the
black balloon safely to the water quicker.
Exactly, and we'll have our headquarters in Malibu, California, right up the street from Noble, so I can eat fine dining and look at the ocean
in the boo,
and do right by you guys, because black balloons matter.
Black balloon lives matter.
Black balloon lives matter. There you go.
We're gonna have to get that printed on a black shirt.
On a black shirt with black
on black.
Yeah. So it's not really, can't really see it, but you can. If the light hits it
black
right.
shirts. We just sell black shirts.
It's your boy Crypto Blood, man. That's another episode under our belt. Episode 95 with Rice TVX. We out of here, people.
Shit won't last, about to shut the city down like a crypto crash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin.
Yeah, boy.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Smoking on that crippy got me cliff high. Steam pot, heat rock, slingshot. Surfing through the city while them chips rise. Hot boy, do it big time. Element with my summer bay, we booed up. Cali hit the bay, we fly MIA, we pulled up. Sipping on this drink, bitch, I know the way. We juiced up, nigga violate till it's JFK like your roof up. Coin daddy bout them chips, nigga rap snacks. Face all in a box, nigga Snapchat. Fucking with the ops to get you clapped. No cap, nigga rap.
Stacking my coin, stacking my coin, stacking my coin.
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks! We'll do it live.
Okay.